If you'd like to make more amazing looking videos in as short of an amount of time as possible, then you'll find this video useful because I'm gonna blast through some of the top plugins that you can buy for Final Cut Pro, and all of them are on sale at the moment. These plugins are all from the company MotionVFX, which has become known as one of the best, if not the best companies to buy Final Cut Pro plugins from. The first one is underrated, I feel, and it is called mCollage. These custom movements are clutch because they replace the keyframing that you'd need to do in Final Cut if you want to, say, zoom in or out of an image, or even create a fake tilt to add a little extra camera movement in your shot. But you can find these presets in a few other MotionVFX packs, so if these presets interest you but the rest of the pack doesn't, there may be better options for you. I really like these textured backgrounds that come with this plugin. They can be used as a background for text or a video, and I just really like the aesthetic of them. It's important to note that they don't animate through, though. They do animate in and out, but that's the only movement they make. There's lots of cool animated doodles that you can use to highlight things in your shot. There's all these really cool frames that you can use to place images or video in. There's different drag and drop overlay effects, which aren't as useful as some other overlay effects in different plugins that we'll go over in this video, but nevertheless, you have them. And there's also 38 different titles that you can use in your videos. I like these because they have a simple design, but they're not too simple, if you know what I mean. And they're also easily adjustable. The next plugin is mFilm, and this plugin has a slight resemblance to mCollage, but there are a lot of differences. We have our movement presets, and as I scroll down, you'll see we have tons of different overlays to create a cool filmic frame that is really popular right now, and something that I personally enjoy aesthetically. It's really easy to add your videos to these too. You can add your videos or images via drop zone, but I would suggest just switching this to background footage or empty frame. It just makes it much easier. But if you do want to do some of these multiple framed ones, then you'll have to go with drop zones, I believe. What's also really cool is that all of these presets have on-screen controls that allow you to quickly change the aspect ratio of the frames if you'd like. You also have full control of these realistic side markers by hopping into your inspector window and adjusting. And you have the ability to change quite a few other parameters. This plugin comes with a more useful set of overlay effects than mCollage, in my opinion. We have blurring, film burn, film grain, light leaks, a sprocket hole, vignetting, and more. And it also comes with 5 filmic titles and lower thirds. This plugin also comes with 5 transitions that are pretty damn sweet as well. I am a big fan of preset number 4 and 5. By the way, I really had to limit myself on the amount of plugins that I'm going to go over, so it is important to note that there may be other plugins that fit your style more than the ones I'll list. So I'll give some bonus plugin suggestions in the description for those wanting some different options. Plugin number 3 is mJourney, and if you are someone who creates travel vlogs or you just make videos about your travels and adventures, then this may be the plugin for you. We have a variety of drop zones here, as well as different effects which have a few differences than mFilm, like this map outline effect and this recording overlay. This miscellaneous section has some of my favorite presets in the plugin, and what it has are some really cool pop-ups to give some context or information about your travels or whatever you'd like to use this plugin for in a professionally animated way. So if you wanted to show your packing list or what you're doing that day, you have some presets that can help out. And by the way, for time's sake, I'm just going to skip over the sections that I find are least useful, like these icons. However, you may like these the most, so take what I say or don't say with a grain of salt. You have these animated routes that you can use in your videos. And maybe my favorite section, the titles. Once again, I personally find myself leaning more into titles that are simple but have a little bit of style, and these are just that. This plugin also comes with really solid transitions, and actually, these may be the best part about this plugin. It comes with 11 of them, and they're all just really smooth looking. If you've seen some of my tutorials, you might recognize this one. The next plugin is mKBHD, which is Marques Brownlee's pack. This pack is obviously useful if you create tech reviews, but I think there are a variety of different video types that these presets can be applied to. I've actually used a lot of these presets in my tutorials. We have a couple of nice backgrounds, and something that I really like is that a lot of these presets have some grain and blooming of the highlights added to them. So for example, if I go to this call to action section, you'll see that there's this glow around some of these elements. And I can head into the inspector and turn the glow off and on so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Most of the elements have this, and they're all just really modern looking and well animated. So if you're into that, you will love this pack. I like the simplicity and shape of some of these call to actions. The lower thirds and titles also have that modern techie sort of feel. In the tools and effects section, there are tons of options. You have this preset if you want to quickly show a video while you're talking about something on screen. You have different markers and pointers. You can add some film grain and some of that glow over whatever you want just by dragging this over your footage, and quite a few more useful presets. mKBHD also comes with 6 transitions, which once again would be great for any type of videos involving tech, business, or if you just want some transitions with modern design. This next pack is going to be a go-to if you just want a pack that only has lower thirds and a massive variety of them. It's called mLowers Mega Pack, and it comes with 131 diverse lower thirds that you can use for corporate work, documentaries, travel stuff, something sports related. Honestly, there are so many different styles in this pack that you're pretty much set when it comes to lower thirds. And like all of these plugins, all the elements in the presets are fully customizable. Plugin number 6 is one of my favorite plugins of theirs, and I don't even make music videos. It's called mMusic Video, and it has this camera movement section, which is similar to the ones we went over in previous plugins, but it also has some different ones. This dynamic preset zooms in and out and adds a focus element to the shot, which can help add a lot more energy to a static shot. For example, in this trailer I created for their plugin mAnime, I used this preset to help make this static shot look like it wasn't just my camera set up on a tripod. There's the handheld shake preset, which is way better than the built-in handheld effect in Final Cut Pro. There's this VHS zoom in preset, and of course the standard rotate and zoom in and zoom out. I don't use the subtitles or title section, but the nice thing about the plugin is that you can use these titles for films as well as music videos. They really have a cinematic feel to them. The section that I use the most are the effects. The anamorphic lens preset is really cool because not only does it blur and swirl the perimeter of your shot like an anamorphic lens might do with a shallow depth of field, but it also squeezes your image in a way that looks similar to an anamorphic squeeze. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good for a drag and drop preset. And of course, you can adjust and turn off different elements as well. If you don't have a Promise filter, you can use this light diffuse effect to give you a similar blooming of the highlights look. There's this fake parallax effect, which is pretty cool, a drag and drop VHS preset, and obviously there's tons more. I don't want to waste your time going through each one, but I find this section so fun, and it'll definitely help to spice up your shots. And Music Video also comes with 6 transitions that are pretty sweet as well. Plugin number 7 and 8 are my favorite title packs that MotionVFX has ever created, and they are mTitle Cinematic and mTitle Cinematic 2. I was only going to pick one to really narrow down your choices, but I had an extremely hard time just choosing one. They both have 50 presets of cinematic titles. The fonts they use and the way they animate are pretty identical to titles you'd normally see on feature films and big TV shows. Alongside titles, each pack also has a variety of presets for credits and other text that you might see in movies and TV shows. The next plugin is another title pack that is also fantastic, but in a different way. mTitle Kinetic 2 has 60 different title presets, and they're all fun, Apple-inspired titles. These are usually my go-to titles when I'm not wanting something cinematic, but I still want solid animation. They're fun, some are vibrant, and they all have really nice and unique animations already integrated for you. Just like all of MotionVFX's titles, you can move them around with the on-screen controls and adjust the size really easily. You can even adjust the animation speed, and of course, the font and stuff like that. No matter what kind of videos you make, I think you can find some use for these title presets. Just like how we had the mLowers Mega Pack, MotionVFX also has the mTitle Mega Pack. Once again, this pack has a massive amount of diverse presets, 140 of them to be precise. And just like the lower thirds Mega Pack, this title one has such a variety of options that aren't just titles, but some are kind of like templates and have backgrounds and different assisting elements. As always, everything is fully customizable, so if you want to change the color of things, move elements around, get rid of the background, you are able to do it. Obviously, these are more intricate, so if you're wanting some titles that have personality and are very style specific, then go with these. Plugin number 11 is in the top 3 plugins that the company has ever made, in my opinion, and it may actually be number 1. It is mTracker 3D. This is the best 3D tracking plugin that you can buy for Final Cut Pro. And no, the tracker that was recently added to Final Cut doesn't come close to this because, for one, it's not a 3D tracker like this one is. What I mean by 3D tracking is it allows you to place objects, text, or whatever you want in a 3D space. So like this tutorial shows that I put together for MotionVFX, you can make it seem like the camera is flying through and past text on the beach. Obviously, the ways you can use this are endless. MotionVFX also sells these expansion packs that have 3D titles and elements that you can track. But once again, you can track anything. For example, you can even track 2D titles from different plugin packs that you've bought, like this one from mJourney. This is definitely not cheap though, but it is powerful, and if you think it's something you'll use often, then consider picking it up while it's on discount. The next 2 plugins are plugins that can help to make your YouTube videos look significantly more professional and well done, and they are mTuber 2 and mTuber 3. Once again, I tried to narrow it down to only one, but they each have presets that the other doesn't. For example, mTuber 3 has 5 different transitions that I find myself using often. mTuber 2 doesn't have any transitions, but it does have these ending scenes for the end of your YouTube videos. And mTuber 2 has more pointers and intro, outro animations. mTuber 3 takes the cake with a lot more of these titles and lower thirds that you can use in your videos though. They both have some really solid call to actions that you can apply to help increase engagement on your videos. You may actually have seen YouTubers using this one often. The next plugin you can find in your effects browser, and it is mFilm Look. This is a very popular plugin that I mainly use for 2 reasons. First, I love the fact that I can add a little extra blur around the perimeter of my shot to really help dial in my viewers' focus on the subject. I also like adding some chromatic aberration around the edges of my shot. This is just my personal taste though. There are tons more that this plugin does. You can add a letterbox, you can create a vignette, you can add film grain, you can add LUTs directly from this plugin, you can add different flare options, and they're not trackable though. That is mFlare 2, which we'll be going over in a second. And you can also do some basic color correcting adjustments like converting to Rec 709 with the click of a button, adjusting white balance, adding contrast, adding vibrance, sharpness, and other parameters like these. It is a great plugin to have in your toolkit if you are keen to make your shots look more cinematic in as short of an amount of time as possible. Plugin number 15 is mFlare 2, and like I talked about in the last video I posted, this is my favorite plugin that MotionVFX has ever created. mFlare 2 lets you track organic looking flares to whatever you like in your shot. It has tons of different flare options, and they all look unbelievably real, especially with the fact that the tracking is so damn good. Also, I want to point out that you don't need mTracker 3D to track these. The tracking feature comes with the plugin. You can adjust the colors of the flare as well as hop into the edit panel, and you then have complete control of every element in the flare, which is really cool. Like I mentioned in the previous video, you can help to make the flare look even more real by, say, adding a bit of flicker to it. It's those finishing touches to your shot that I think really help your footage stand out, and I find that mFlare 2 does a great job at doing just that. If you've watched the editing breakdowns that I've done on the video portraits that I've created, you will know this plugin. It is called mMovie Lights. This plugin essentially adds cinematic lighting effects to your shot to help add that extra element of wow, that cherry on the top that I talked about with mFlare 2. There's 60 of them, and the nice thing is that they're not static lighting effects. They move and wave to help add a bit more realism. You have control over the size and position of that light effect, as well as color, and quite a few other settings. Something that I'm a big fan of is how most of them add a really subtle vignette, so you can darken the outside of an area of your choosing. You just choose the center location that you'd like to be lit up well, and use the other slider to expand or contract the vignette. This helps guide your viewer's eyes into where you'd like just a little bit more. These last couple plugins are all transition plugin packs. Plugin number 17 is mTransition Shine, and this plugin is great if you create travel films, fitness or beauty YouTube videos, hotel promos, home videos, wedding films, and more. And what it has are 50 organic looking light transitions. There are a bunch of different options and looks, but something that's cool about all of them is that they add movement to your footage in a way that helps the transition to seem smoother. So for example, here's this transition with this movement off, and here it is with the movement on. It just helps to make your shots mix a little better with the transition and look more realistic. Plugin number 18 is my personal favorite transition plugin, and it is called mTransition Noise. This is the exact style that I'm into right now, which is grungy and cinematic, and maybe it's the style you're into as well. It gives you the option to create your own custom transitions, but in my opinion, you can speed up your workflow and still find a great transition just by choosing one of the pre-animated ones. The transitions involve a lot of film grain, flares, and flashing and camera shaking, and like always, you can go into the inspector window and adjust all of the settings if you want. These would be great for skateboarding and sports videos, event videos, music videos, and much more. And actually recently, I think I spotted one of these presets used in a video from YouTuber Matt Como. The next transition plugin pack, which is actually brand new as of this recording date, is mTransition Paper. These are so cool, I think, and they actually would pair pretty well with mTransition Noise. The presets basically create a transition between your shots by creating a paper rip or paper crumple effect. And there's a huge variety of different options. I understand that these are pretty style specific, but if you're making a lot of music videos, shoe or clothing promo videos, skateboarding videos, maybe even tutorials, then you can probably find some places to include these. And if you want to match the colors of your brand or other brands, you can easily make those adjustments in the inspector window, as well as other adjustable parameters, of course. Then we have mTransition Zoom 3, and this transition pack has a boatload of different zoom in and zoom out transitions, zoom wipe transitions, roll-up transitions, and a lot more. They're all really customizable as well. And if you don't really like the fact that some transitions distort your shot or have a prism effect on them, those parameters are easily adjustable. Lots of uses with these transitions, I think. There is no one style that these could be used for. In the description of this video, I listed out some other bonus plugins that you might enjoy, and I also put links to all of the plugins that I just went over in this video. And I just want to mention that by picking up the plugins through my links, this is one way to support the content that I provide for free on the channel every week, and I would greatly appreciate it, of course. Have a fantastic rest of your day, guys.